Today's March 30th, and yeah, it's Good Friday actually. It's a statutory holiday here in Canada, so I decided to get out on the trail and go for a hike and hopefully spend the night. Um, yeah, so I'm up on the Bruce Peninsula. I'm I drove into the town of Lions Head, and now I'm hiking south on the Bruce Trail. The Bruce Trail, if you're not familiar with it, it's one of Ontario, Canada's, uh, I'll say, greatest trails. It's from the runs from Niagara up to Tobermory on the Bruce Peninsula. I'm not sure how many kilometers that is, but it's a long way. So yeah, probably the longest trail in Ontario. Actually, I think they've completed the Trans-Canada Trail, so that would be longer. But yeah, very long trail up on the peninsula right now, and yeah, I'm hoping for a good day. It's really nice blue sky. I wasn't sure if I should come out or not. Right now, they're calling for rain tomorrow, and yeah, there's other challenges that I got to deal with today. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, challenges. Okay, so weather. It's right now it's a nice day. It's probably +1, maybe 2. Feels pretty good. But like I said, they're calling for rain tomorrow. I don't know when that's supposed to start. It could be late tonight. With the warm weather, you can see there's lots of snow and it's melting off. And this trail is, it's a combination of rock, like bedrock, Canadian Shield, and then mud and dirt and moss and that kind of thing. So with the snow melting off, it's muddy in spots and then slippery in spots. In fact, the trail guide says that this part of the trail is classified as strenuous, and they caution do not hike alone. So yeah, so that's challenge number 1. Challenge number 2, the trail runs next to Georgian Bay, which is behind me now. We'll have a look at it later. And the bay is, it's frozen over right now. And so if the wind picks up off the bay, I'm sure that'll make it quite cold. So that would be another challenge. Biggest challenge that I'm facing is, unfortunately, last Friday, actually, I became incredibly ill and, in fact, went to the hospital on the Saturday. So, yeah, no confirmation or anything yet, but right now the doctors believe it was kidney stones. And I know that if any of you watching have ever had kidney stones, you're probably wincing along with me just thinking about it. So, anyhow, yeah, still... I believe I am over that, but I still feel, yeah, like I had a stone pass through me, so there's still, I'd say I'm like 98% good, and then that 2% is like a memory of pain. So anyway, I've packed along the medication that the doctor prescribed, painkillers mainly, and he did give me a bit of a warning and said that he didn't really want to see me, in his words, rolling around in agony out here. I don't want to see that either, but yeah, it's been a week, 6 days since I've had any pain, and so yeah, I'm not gonna, put off life. I think that I'm over it, so we'll see what happens, and I've prepared myself with bringing medication along, and yeah, we'll hope for the best. Yeah, other challenges. I don't foresee there being any wildlife issues. There is lots of wildlife up here, and, I've never been on this trail, but up on the peninsula, tons of coyotes. Like, I don't personally have anything against coyotes, but I'll say up here, tons of coyotes. I've been driving and have seen them run across the road, big coyotes. There are bear. Yeah, bear is my fear, just so you know. But there are bear up here. I saw one not too long ago. Was it like 2 years ago? I was actually driving and saw it run across the road. I pulled over to see it, obviously not get out or anything, but pulled over to see it. It was down in a ditch and it turned around and stood up. So I was sitting in my car. It was down the ditch, let's say 3 feet deep. It turned around and stood up, and its head was the same height as mine. So standing up, he was a good, 6 or 7 feet tall. So yeah, so that would be a concern. This time of year, they're waking up, they're groggy, they're hungry. So yeah, so a bit of a concern, probably nothing to worry about, but anyway, keep my eyes out. Anyhow, yeah, that's it so far. So I'm going to keep hiking. Right now I've got about probably 10 kilometers to where I'm going to camp tonight. And yeah, let's hope it goes good, because it would suck for me to, fall into pain 10 kilometers in and have to hike out, 10 kilometers. But yeah, we'll see. Let's give it a go. Okay, well, I wanted to show you something because, a lot of people probably don't know. So the Bruce Trail, it's well marked. It's a well marked trail. It is also, I'm not going to say it's a wilderness area, but there's definitely areas like the area that I'm in right now that, it's a nature reserve. So it's pretty wild. I guess it comes down to how you define wilderness. What I wanted to point out to you, though, is the markers, okay? So basically the way they work is if there's a single marker, right, just one, then you're just to follow that direction. Then if you see a marker like this, where there's, one at the bottom and then another one on top, either to the right or to the left, you follow the direction that the one on the top is. So, here I've got, the center one, and then I've got one up above and to the right. So it's telling me that the trail turns to the right, okay? And then further on, I can look down, and, this time of year, without all the leaves, it's quite clear, and I can see the next up ahead, and it's opposite to this. It's, a lower mark, and then one above it and to the left. So up ahead, the trail turns to the left, okay? So, the markers are quite good, useful, because, you can imagine, and especially when it's completely snow-covered or, well, I imagine especially snow-covered, but, in conditions where it's difficult to see the trail, the markers really help out a lot. just taking a little break, sit down, rest a bit. So beside me here is Georgian Bay, and specifically this little area is Isthmus Bay. Just to the north is the town of Lion's Head. I'm going to be hiking down to the next little bay, which is Barrow Bay. That's where I'll be camping tonight. Cool thing about this little spot is right around here is the 45th parallel. So basically I'm halfway between the equator and the North Pole. So that's pretty good. I'm hiking south, so every step I take, I should be getting warmer. Something else, eh? Yeah, it's pretty much like eye candy for landscape. Well, I don't think I'm far now. Probably half a kilometer or a kilometer to go. The wind's picking up, so I took my jacket off ages ago because I was warm. I'm starting to feel the wind quite a bit, so I may have to put it on, but we gotta try to keep it off as well. While hiking, I realized I forgot one thing. I forgot to change a t-shirt, so I'm actually quite warm. Probably a little bit sweaty on my underlayer, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I might have to take off the t-shirt later on tonight, but I do have another like thermal layer that I can put on, so not overly concerned. But yeah, chilly wind coming off the bay, so yeah, it's beautiful though, isn't it? It's nice too. I don't know, 10-15 minutes ago I got to a spot and I don't know if you ever had it before, I had this feeling that nobody else has been out here in a while, and I saw even, the snow and the trail. It looks very unmarked, like nobody's hiked out here for quite a while. I don't blame anyone really. I'm probably a bit nuts. Said that before, but yeah, it's icy up here, high cliffs and everything. But still, you know, it's kind of like a portage, you know, like people hate them, but you know, if you push yourself and, you know, get past that little bit, you end up in places like this, and you know, they're quiet, you know, hardly anybody else is, you know, willing to, you know, put the effort in to, you know, just get out. A little bit of hardship, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna get going, try to find this campsite. Made it. Yeah, that's worth it. I can't quite relax yet. I find a flat spot to set up my tent and start looking for a bit of firewood. Wind's coming from the northeast, which is that way, so probably best that I try to shelter myself with some trees a little bit. Actually, now I feel the wind behind my back, so anyhow. Yeah, this is pretty cool. All right, get camp set up. Okay, well, I've gathered up some firewood. Probably not enough for the whole night, but could be an early night, so then might be enough. Yeah, probably an early night. Hike was pretty strenuous, especially the last part, you know. Trail saved the worst or best for last, of course. Hiking down the escarpment, down to this lower level. There was this overhanging cliff, and all the snow melt off was coming off, you know, and so underneath was just like sheer ice, and you know, that's where the trail was. So I had to actually get off the trail and try to maneuver right beside the trail, you know, along this really steep edge, which was, you know, all loose snow and everything, while having a backpack and a camera in my hand. So yeah, I guess the, you know, the warning or the advisory to not hike alone, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. In summer it wouldn't be as bad. Still pretty, you know, like I lived out on the west coast of Canada for a while, so you know, I've hiked through mountains, and it's not, I wouldn't call it strenuous, but yeah, like it's definitely, you know, it was a difficult day. like I said, it was about 10 kilometers in, and but plus all the back and forth filming, so I figure I probably hiked in, I don't know, like it was probably 12 kilometers or something like that with all the back and forth I did. So yeah, anyhow, like I was saying, I gathered up firewood, and I was feeling damp, so I took off my red shirt while I was doing it and hung it off a tree, and took the vest off and just had the t-shirt on, and yeah, with the sun and the wind blowing through, it dried everything up, so that's good. That didn't take very long either. I feel dry now. I feel hungry too, actually. I'm guessing like it's got to be close to 5 o'clock now or something like that. One thing that's not the best is that, like, it would be brilliant to have a nice sunset, but the sun sets on the other side, so as the sun goes down, you know, it'll be behind the trees and the escarpment, and I'll be in shade, and that's when it's going to get cold, so a bit more firewood would probably be good. Yeah, I'm going to set up the tent next, but I wanted to show you something. I realized it's kind of quite cool, so come on, let's have a look. Okay, so you can see behind me this land that juts out a little, I don't want to call it a peninsula, whatever, that little bit of land that juts out there. So just beyond that is Barrow Bay, okay? So we've got that over there, all right? Now, bear with me, okay? I'm going to pan the camera. Okay, and then that land way over there on the other side, behind that is Lion's Head, okay? Now, what's amazing is that from way over there to way over there, there's nobody else. It's quite a long ways. So, yeah. It's very quiet out here. So I've got the sound of the wind. Oh, by the way, I left my external mic at home, so I apologize. I know the audio quality is not going to be that great of this video, but it was just one other thing to backpack in. But yeah, like I was saying, I've got the sound of the wind, some birds, the water, and that's it. Oh, and the ice is crackling, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I don't really know where to set up the tent, really. Well, I think I do, but the issue is just that you can see all the rock that I'm standing on and everything, all this loose rock. It's there really isn't a flat spot around here. So I think I'm going to put it together, and I think I'm just going to set it up just somewhere relatively flat near the fire. I was thinking to get it out of the wind, but the thing is that, you know, when I look for a campsite, regardless of where I am, I have two rules, right? So you can look for a campsite that's, you know, west facing, right? And you get the sunsets. Or you look for a campsite that's facing the east and you get the sunrise. Now, if you have an open campsite facing east, then when the sun rises, it warms up your tent as well. It's definitely warmer out here in the sun than it is in the bush, so I think setting up just out here is okay. I have concern because it's supposed to rain. I have concern that it's going to get windy and, you know, nasty, rainy. Right now, it doesn't look like it will. So, yeah, I think I'm going to just chance it. You know, it's a 4-season tent, and so it's got, you know, it's a little bit more robust than, you know, a summer tent. So we'll give it a shot, and, you know, worst case scenario, I have a horrible night's sleep and I pack up and leave in the morning. So, yeah, good. Yeah, and by the way, I'm still alive, so all the health stuff hasn't killed me yet. And this was worth getting out here, taking the risk. So, knock on wood, I'll have to find some wood. Hopefully it keeps up and things go good. This is a nice spot. It's like little icebergs out there. Very cool. Okay, so that's not bad, is it? So obviously I wasn't going to use tent pegs, so I just used rocks in place to hold the straps down for the fly. It reminded me as I was shifting all the rocks around that there's rattlesnakes out here. Forgot to probably mention that to you earlier. Not that there'd be rattlesnakes down here necessarily, and it's too cold for them right now anyhow, but yeah, as I was shifting the rocks around, I was thinking, don't be surprised if you see something you don't want to see. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's good. I think I'm pretty much ready for the night. So I'll do my air mattress later and throw my sleeping bag in. And yeah, it's not going to be comfortable. The rocks are pretty brutal, really, but that's all right. It'll be good. I think I'm going to gather up some more wood and just get ready to make dinner. Okay, so I think I'm good. There was a tree down in the bush, upturned roots and everything. Actually, it was across the trail when I hiked in, so I cut a big, well, whatever, what's that, 4 feet, 5 foot section out of it. So I think that'll be enough. Plus, I have, a couple other dead trees here that I found, a bunch of small ones and kindling. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna get dinner going. Tonight, I'm gonna be using the firebox stove, and yeah, gonna cook some potatoes and steak. So hiking in today, I gathered up a bunch of birch bark, not all off the same tree. I picked a little bit here and there. There's tons of birch in the bush here, so yeah, just I looked. Some of it was even lying on the ground, but as I was walking by, anything that looked like it was going to fall off, that's all I just peeled off. Um, so yeah, I'm going to use this as my tinder, and feels damp. I had it in my pocket, so it's held in all the moisture, but it feels actually damp to the touch. So hopefully it takes the spark. It should, but yeah, hopefully. Okay, so the potatoes are just dehydrated potatoes, and I put some seasoning in with them. So put a little note in the bag to remind myself how much water to put in. So add 1 cup of water. So I always pack a little measuring cup. This is actually it's small, so I use a 1/4 cup. Whatever. It's not really a pain, but you got to do it a lot. But it's better than having a 1 cup and having to guess at what a 1/4 cup is. So, and I find that a lot of the things that I bake out, in the bush or whatever, it's all small measurements because it's for one person. So, and usually it's like a 1/4 of a cup. So anyway, potatoes 1 cup. So 4 of these. Okay, and I believe I just pour it in, so I'm going to. Okay. So I need to bring that to a boil. Once it boils, I'll just take it off and just let it, sit for whatever, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. And while it's sitting, I'll put the grill on the firebox and start cooking up the steak. pretty nice night. Good dinner. Well, I think it was worth the risk coming out here, you know, health risk, risk of the trail not being, you know, passable, you know, the not listening to the warning of don't hike alone. Thing is, you know, and I don't know if it's reckless or not, but you know, like I don't want to put life on hold and not hike in the places where, you know, there's a warning, don't hike alone, if I don't have someone to hike with, you know, or the time of year or whatever. You know, I weighed the risk, and, you know, I think it was a risk worth taking. I mean, look at this. Look at the day that we've had. We've had. I guess I've shared it with you. Anyway, I'm going to tidy up. I'm going to boil up some water and wash up dishes and whatnot. Try to figure out what to do with, you know, my other food stuff, if I can hang it up tonight. I'm going to sort that kind of stuff out and just chill. Relax for the night. Okay, well, the night was mostly uneventful. Good night. About halfway through the night, there were coyotes calling to each other not far from the tent, probably like 50 feet out. But I know, like, for the most part, coyotes leave you alone, don't bug you. There's hardly ever any incidents with coyotes, so whatever. The sound of the ice. I don't know if you can hear that. But the sound of the ice through the night was probably more of a concern. Not a concern, but just, you know, you hear the crackling, but it also makes other weird noises, popping and, you know, thumping and stuff like that. So, you know, there were a few times where I'd hear something, you know, and listen, and, you know, what is that noise? And then realize, oh, that's the ice. So yeah, the ice, you know, just noises really, you know, like they do, you know, kept me up a bit through the night. But, you know, the ice, talking about it, the sheet of ice out there, it's changed overnight a lot. Like yesterday we had a, you know, a large piece close to shore, and then further out there was ice. I don't see any ice out there anymore, so it's all moved in close to shore. So that's pretty cool, that much change, you know, overnight. And I guess my biggest relief overnight is that it didn't rain, and you can see it's nice blue sky, sunny day. So now I don't know if rain's gonna, you know, roll in. Right now I don't see anything, so pretty happy about that. I was really concerned about getting rain yesterday, just because of the temperatures. You know, last thing I wanted to be is like out here, you know, sitting around zero in the rain with 10-kilometer hike ahead of me. Plus the trail conditions, like there are some really slippery, icy spots, especially the first bit that I have to try to manage to get up today. But then also along the cliff edge, a lot of icy spots that, you know, were pretty tricky. So, you know, add water to make them more slippery, and that would be a bit of a nightmare. So, yeah, you know, I was planning on just packing up and heading out first thing, but I think that I'm gonna pack up, but I might hang out for a little bit. I brought coffee and I brought bannock and stuff like that, so I might cook that up. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm gonna take it easy for the rest of the day, and no more filming. You know, I think that's important for me, you know, that like you get out, or I get out here, but all the filming, you know, it's almost like work. You know, it's a good job, but it's almost like work. But so I need to also make sure that I spend time out here not filming and just, you know, enjoy being out here. So yeah, so I'm going to thank you for watching, and I'm going to do like I always do and remind you, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.